Okay, whoops. Ooh, I thought I was ready to go live with Dr. Mom on the Moving Forward series. This is 52 Women of the Bible. I was trying to get on here the first of the week, but it's been really busy. We're getting ready for the holidays here, and the kids were here, and it's been crazy. Christmas concerts. Trying to get this done before my grandson gets home. Oh, sorry, I dropped my book. I dropped everything when I got live. Dr. Mom Live. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a doctor of higher education. This is my Moving Forward series. And I just started doing it last year. I did 90 videos in 90 days and just sort of went into moving forward. How am I moving forward? And so I decided to do 52 Women of the Bible because I've been on the road. And so I don't have to think a whole lot about what I'm doing. And it's someone else's work, by the way. I got to give her credit. This is a Bible study. That's Jean E. Seswarda. And so I don't want to take any of the credit. I'm just following her work. So we went through, we're at 45 and it's 52. So 7, we've done 44 before here. And so we only have about 7 after this, and then I can move on to something else. We'll see. So today is Martha. It's kind of fitting that we're in the New Testament because Christmas is coming up, right? We only have a few weeks until Christmas. And so this is kind of a good time to be studying Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the New Testament, and about Christ. And today it is the key scriptures are Luke 10, 38 through 42, and John 11, 1 through 12, and then 3. So Martha, I feel like Martha is a good lesson learned, right? A good story on that. So what was she? Her name, the feminine form of the Lord, means lady. Active and pragmatic, she seemed never at a loss for words, though Jesus chastened her for allowing herself to become worried and upset by small things. She remained his close friend and follower. So as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Luke 10, 38 through 42. So in my opinion, what they're saying it was better for Mary to listen to she was sitting at the Lord's feet. So it was better for her to be listening and getting to know him than to be running around trying to clean the house, right? Well, I don't like cleaning very much. So I remember when we were younger, my sister and I shared a room, and it was like Felix and the Odd Couple. Remember Felix and Oscar, where I think it was Felix was super clean and Oscar was super dirty. Well, that's how we were. So I think there's a little bit of both that you can do, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. So Martha's life and times. The work expected of a woman in the Bible times is much more clearly defined than it is in our culture. There were things the women did and things the men did, things the female children did and things the male children did. I kind of feel like that's true today too, although I think it's getting more and more where everybody's sort of pitching in on both sides. Martha was just doing what she thought was expected of her. She had been raised to take care of her guests, to care for the people in her household. Mary was the one who stepped outside of the culture expectations of her time, sitting at the feet of Jesus with the men rather than working with Martha in the kitchen. When Martha complained, Jesus responded with characteristic boldness, ignoring the dictates of his time and urging Martha to stop and consider the choice Mary had made. Women of that time kept busy from morning to evening with a daunting array of household tasks. Oh, I think my dog wants out. I'm sorry. Just 1 second. Wow. Okay. You want out too? You want out? Of course, there's going to be distractions, right? Of course. Okay. So Martha was just doing what she thought was expected of her. She had been raised to take care of her guests, to care for the people in her household. Mary was the one who stepped outside of the cultural expectations of her time, sitting at the feet of Jesus. When Martha complained, Jesus responded with characteristic boldness, ignoring the dictates of his time and urging Martha to stop and consider the choice Mary had made. Women of that time kept busy from morning to evening with a daunting array of household tasks, probably much like today, only the women go out and work and then come home and do all the tasks. Grinding grain for bread, then mixing, kneading, and baking the bread for the day. Purchasing meat in a market or preparing an animal from the household flock for meat to eat, then cooking that meat. Carding, spinning, and weaving thread of various kinds to make cloth for clothing, bedding, and other household uses. Sewing clothing for household members, drawing the water for each day's requirements, cleaning the house, washing the utensils and dishes used in meal preparation and eating, washing the family's clothes, teaching and disciplining and loving the children in the household. A big difference today, but a lot of those things we're still doing. So our life and times, the list could go on and on. It is not so very different from the list many women today could make of their responsibilities as wives and mothers. The tasks may be overwhelming, they may seem tedious and exhausting, but they are never unimportant. Jesus' words to Martha should not be construed to mean that women's work should be ignored and left undone. That would be unrealistic. However, such work should never take the place of daily and intimate contact with the members of our families and the Lord of our lives. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't ask me why, but the dogs decided right now to make a lot of noise. So the next one, 46, will be Mary of Bethany. Oh my goodness. Jeez. Sounds like someone's outside. Today is the 8th. December 8th, your needs and my riches are a perfect fit. I never meant for you to be self-sufficient. Instead, I designed you to need me not only for daily bread, but also for fulfillment of deep yearnings. I carefully crafted your longings and feelings of incompleteness to point you to me. Wow. Okay. So much for a smooth day for videos. Wow. Okay. So I did look up some stories about Mary and Martha in the Bible. So the Bible story of Mary and Martha, this is Jack Zavada, has confused Christians for centuries. The main lesson in the story places emphasis on giving attention to Jesus over our own busyness. Learn why this is important. So what's a question of reflection? The story of Mary and Martha is one we can return to study again and again in our walk of faith because the lesson is timeless. We all have aspects of Mary and Martha within us. As we read and study the passage, we can reflect on these questions. Do I have my priorities in order? Like Martha, am I worried or anxious about many things? Or like Mary, am I confused? Start over. Like Martha, am I worried or anxious about many things? Or like Mary, am I focused on listening to Jesus and spending time in his presence? Have I put devotion to Christ and his word first, or am I more concerned about doing good deeds? Bible story summary. The story of Mary and Martha takes place in Luke and John, Luke 10:38-42, and John 12:2. Mary and Martha were the sisters of Lazarus, the man Jesus raised from the dead. Well, that's interesting. The three siblings were also close friends of Jesus Christ. They lived in a town called Bethany, about 2 miles from Jerusalem. One day, while Jesus and his disciples stopped to visit in their home, a wonderful lesson unfolded. Mary sat at the feet of Jesus, listening intently to his words. Meanwhile, Martha was distracted, working frantically to prepare and serve the meal for her guests. Frustrated, Martha scolded Jesus, asking him whether he cared that her sister had left her to fix the meal alone. So she told Jesus to order Mary to help her with the preparations. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Which reminds me of back in the day when I was always so busy doing everything. It's funny too, because I don't know. I guess a good example was I decided that I wanted to have a big garden in the backyard. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this big garden. And so, my husband's just like, well, I'm like, how do you do it? And he's like, you get a shovel and start digging. So I did, but then I was all upset because nobody joined in and helped me. Well, it wasn't their idea, it was mine. I finished the garden, it turned out nice, but yeah. Okay, for centuries, people in church have puzzled over the Mary and Martha story, knowing that someone has to do the work. Yeah, that's my thought too. Well, who's going to feed them if one of them doesn't do the work? Maybe they would all join in and sort of helped. The point of this passage, however, is about making Jesus and his word our first priority. Today, we come to know Jesus better through prayer, church attendance, and Bible study. If all 12 apostles and some of the women who supported Jesus' ministry were traveling with him, fixing the meal would have been a major job. Martha, like many hostesses, became anxious over impressing her guests. Martha has been compared to the Apostle Peter, practical, impulsive, and short-tempered to the point of rebuking the Lord himself. Mary is more like the Apostle John, reflective, loving, and calm. Even still, Martha was a remarkable woman and deserves considerable credit. It was quite rare in Jesus' day for a woman to manage her own affairs as the head of the household, and especially to invite a man into her home. Welcoming Jesus and his entourage into her house implied the fullest form of hospitality and involved substantial generosity. Martha appears to be the eldest of the family and head of the sibling household. When Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, both sisters played a prominent role in the story, and their contrasting personalities are evident in this account as well. Although both were upset and disappointed that Jesus did not arrive before Lazarus did, Martha ran out to meet Jesus as soon as she learned he had entered Bethany, but Mary waited at home. John 11:32 tells us that when Mary did finally go to Jesus, she fell at his feet weeping. Some of us tend to be more like Mary in our Christian walk, while others resemble Martha. It's likely we have qualities of both within us. We may be inclined at times to let our busy lives of service distract us from spending time with Jesus and listening to his word. It's significant to note, though, that Jesus gently admonished Martha for being worried and upset, not for serving. Service is a good thing, but sitting at Jesus' feet is best. We must remember what is most important. Good works should flow from Christ-centered life. The key verse, Luke 10, 41 and 42, but the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over these details. There's only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her. Okay, good lesson for today. So that's all I have today. Merry Christmas and many blessings. I'm going to try and tomorrow is 46, so I'm going to try and finish. Probably we'll get them done next week. So, okay. Much love to everyone and have a blessed December. Bye.